Hi everyone, this is Garland Brown. This will be your instructions for Project 1. Today I'll be walking you through performing a SCAP scan and reviewing the results, then prioritizing what GPO settings to configure. Next I'll be configuring a GPO with the requisite settings, followed up by forcing group policy update on the Windows domain controller. Lastly, I'll run the GP result/h file name HTML command to produce an HTML rendering of the group policy that is in effect on the machine. I'm going to go ahead and log into the environment, like so. Now, Server Manager is going to come up and we're just going to close that right away. We're not going to use that. We're going to make sure the Windows server is started by going to Hyper-V. So we hit the Windows search here in the bottom left, type HYPER, and Hyper-V here, we click on that. As we can see, the server is already running. If it was not running, you would just click Start on the right pane. We're going to go ahead and connect to that. The login is CNG student. Once logged in, on the desktop of the Windows Server Virtual Machine, you'll find a tool called SCAP Compliance Checker. Double-click that. Click Yes. Click OK if that pops up. Let's click Start Scan. Continue. Okay. I've restarted SCAP Compliance Checker, and we're just going to go ahead and we're going to accept the defaults and start the scan. Click Continue. Now that the scan has completed, we click View Results. What we're going to do is right-click Group Policy Objects. Click New. We're going to name this group policy SCAP _ your first initial last name. Click OK. Now you'll see it populate down here under Group Policy Objects container. Right-click that GPO and select Edit. Now that we've completed the scan, I went ahead and clicked View Results right here. And now we're going to look at Microsoft Windows Server 2022 STIG. Let's double-click all settings. And we passed 95 and failed 107 STIG settings. Let's scroll down to identify which we should work on. As you can see, there's 3 categories to STIG findings, and that's Cat 1, Cat 2, and Cat 3. We're going to look at the Cat 1s because that's most important. I selected V254352. That's the STIG number. Windows Server 2022 autoplay must be turned off for non-volume devices. Look at the fixed text. It says configure the policy value for computer configuration administrative templates, Windows components, autoplay policies, disallow autoplay for non-volume devices to enabled. So we're going to keep that over here. And let's shrink the screen a little bit. Now let's get back to our group policy window. So we have the group policy management editor, and this policy is located again in the fixed text in computer configuration administrative templates, computer configuration, that's policies administrative templates. We open that up. Windows components, autoplay. Autoplay policies. Disallow autoplay for non-volume devices to enabled. Okay. Here we have that setting right here. Select enabled. Click apply. And click OK. Referring back to the SCAP scan results, we see V254353. Windows Server 2022 default auto run behavior must be configured to prevent auto run commands. We look at the fixed text, computer configuration, administrative templates, Windows components, autoplay policies, set the default behavior for auto run to enabled with do not execute any auto run command selected. Refer back to our group policy window. Hope I'm not getting Windows updates. It is lagging. Set the behavior for auto run is right here. To enabled with do not execute any auto run commands. Do not execute any auto run commands. Click apply. Now click OK. We're going to look for one more setting, the next one. V254354 Windows Server 2022 autoplay must be disabled for all drives. That is in the same location. Autoplay policies says turn off autoplay to enabled with all drives selected. Turn off autoplay, that's right here. To enabled with all drives selected. All drives is selected. Click apply. So what we just did was configure the STIG settings for V254354, V254353, and V254352. As you can see, they are all listed here, the three we just resolved, in red in our previous SCAP scan. Okay. We're going to go ahead and close that report viewer, and we're going to get out of the group policy management editor. Let's go back to our group policy management console here. So we've now created our GPO. Let's look at the settings. We see the three settings here configured the way they were meant to be configured in our STIG findings. Let's go ahead and attach that GPO through a group policy link to the domain controller's OU by right-clicking domain controllers, link an existing GPO. SCAP underscore G Brown is the GPO we want to do. Now that we've done that, we can click the caret on domain controllers and we see that the SCAP G Brown GPO is applied. Now let's go to PowerShell and we're going to do that GP update /force to update that policy and pull the new group policy configurations that we just created onto this machine. Computer policy is updated successfully. User policy is completed successfully. That's what we're looking for. Let's go ahead and change directory CD to our desktop $EMB user profile /desktop. Now we're going to do a GP result /h./htm. Let's do /2.htm since I already have a file called 1.htm here. To open that same file, we call the file name with / for our present location, 2.htm. We're going to Control F for applied GPOs. Oh, excuse me. Before we can do that, we need to show all. Now we can go back here and look for applied GPOs, as you can see here. We're going to scroll down. We see the default domain controllers policy, the default domain policy, the data loss prevention policy, which you'll see in your next assignment, the Nessus policy. Now we see SCAP G Brown policy that we just created. We can furthermore Control F for SCAP and the name of your GPO. And it'll show you the configurations that are set from that GPO. We're going to go ahead and make a screenshot of this, and we do so by pressing the Windows key. Windows, snip, press return, click new, and you do that. We're going to save that to the desktop. We can go ahead and close that. We can now go ahead and close our GP result now that we know our group policy is set the way we want it to on that machine. And we can refer back to SCAP now. And let's go ahead and conduct another scan. Click continue. Now that the scan has completed, we're going to go ahead and click view results. And click on the MS Windows Server STIG we were working on. Double click reports. Double click all settings under reports. So let's scroll down to the results. As you can see, V254354 is now blue, V254353 is blue, and V254352 is now blue. So no longer they're resolved findings. We have remediated those findings. So that will be your assignment. We've identified STIGs V254352, V254353, and V254354 that can be resolved by group policy. I want you to resolve those STIGs, then perform a SCAP scan of this screen here showing that STIGs 254, 352, 353, and 354 are now resolved. Thank you very much.